Okay, so in the previous video, we kind of gave an overview of IPLD and looked at it a little bit. So today I'm going to go through a JavaScript example that they present in their documentation and show you what you can do here. So, what we're going to do, the first example, this is in JavaScript. This is an in-memory store. So, first thing they do is they create these, they have this person, they encode it to get a block using the DAG sabor. They then get the CID, because this, and then the root is the is people that's encoded. So you got a person, you encode them to make a child block. Your people is this, I guess, an array here of, and then you have the array, I guess, of CIDs, and then you have you encode the people to get your root. So my guess is you can probably put multiple in here. So here's a little better example. So we create a map, and what we're going to do is the map is used in this data store. And get and set. You have your little methods there. And this promise is just a way of handling the asynchronous, that's asynchronous. That's out of the scope of this discussion, but this is a Node.js thing. So you let's see what we're doing here. We're storing our blocks in this store. You got your child block and your root block. And then to print people, you get your root block ID. You use that to get the people block, and then you decode the people block to get the people. So you got here, remember this is encoded, it's in this list or array, and you put it in the root block. So down here you get the root block ID, and you get the block of people, this, and then you decode it, and then you have your people, and you can go through, and for each of them you can get, so again these are CIDs as well that are then encoded. So what you got is then you got the block, and you decode the block, and you can then print this, and then you run it. So what this would do is return the list of people. Now here's a little bit more complex example. They create a save for the store, and basically what happens is you put your object in here, codes it, it puts it in the store, and it returns the CID. That's save. So rowing, skating, and running have a CID, and again asynchronous uses a wait, And then what you're doing, you're essentially creating this object, this JSON object, which is the name and then the interest. And remember, this is a CID, right? And same thing here, you got the array. And you do, so you have this object that you're saving. And then to compare interests between person 1 and person 2, it's saying, you know, this is again for the asynchronicity. You get your blocks, you decode the blocks, and so you, I guess it's a set. Common interest is an array. So you decode interests, decode 1.interest for each CID, add CID to string, and for constant CID of decode interest. So you get the block, you push the decoded common interest, and if decode name and decode people is let's see, the two different decoded names, common interest, if common interest dot length is equal to 0, they have nothing in common. And okay, so let's see. If scene has CID to string, so where is, so if scene, that's the set of common interests for decode 1, and for decode 2, if it's in there, then you push it in. So that would be your common interest. So basically what's happening is, looks like what you're doing here is you're creating a list of common interests, a list of interests, and putting them in a set. If a set, so you've like a set of objects, a set of interests, skating, rowing, running, and if that set has the CID of the interest of person 2, then you push it in, then you get the block, and you push that decoded in. So you can see this is how it works. So this is basically how the whole concept works with the CIDs, which identify everything. Now, if you want to do this you don't want to just store it locally. You want to store it in IPFS. So you create IPFS here, and let me see. So the main difference is you put the block into the IPFS, and that's basically how you store the data. So anything that you could store, and I said they support JSON, they support some other, I think they mentioned some of the other things that they support in terms of formats. But JSON is very easy to understand. So if you put it in a format they support and you encode it, it'll create this address, if you will, that'll allow you to pull it out and decode it at any time you need it. So hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully this is, again, this, like the last video, is rather technical. So if you have questions, please put it in the comments, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. It's basically, data like any other data. It's just a little bit, API, the actual code you have to write is a little bit different. So, again, hopefully this has been helpful. If it is, please give a like. Please subscribe. Please ring the bell to get further notifications. And please share with your friends who may be interested. And I will speak to you next time.